Welcome to another episode of Community Spotlight. And today I got my dear friend Narbe from One Stop Home Inspections. He is our go-to home inspectors for all our inspections. So Narbe, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So Narbe, I've prepared a lot of great questions to ask you. But before we jump in, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, how long you've been an inspector, and so on.
All right, so my name is Narbe, One Stop Home Inspections. Been doing inspections coming up on 7 years now. Working with a lot of the agents in the area, growing my business one step at a time, just like everybody else.
Absolutely. So Narbe, I imagine the viewers are going to be either buyers who are curious to know about the home inspection process, or there may be sellers out there curious, like, hey, I'm thinking about putting my home on the market. How does an inspection play out? So let's dive into our questions. Sound good?
Yeah,
All right.
sounds good.
So how can a seller prepare their home for an inspection to ensure a smooth process?
Seller, most buyers, they look at the most important parts of the house. So
Okay.
you got to make sure, like your roof, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, all those are in good order, because all those will come up on a home inspection.
Of course. Tell us a little bit more about that.
All right, so
I'm a seller.
for example, your AC, make sure you get it maintained before you list a property. Make sure it's working properly. Change your air filter. Those are the simple things that come up on a report that makes a home inspector think that the seller's not taking care of the house. So simple things like that, it helps a lot. It helps out a lot.
Okay.
For example, make sure your plumbing under your bathroom sink is not leaking.
Okay.
If it just needs to be tightened, do that before the inspection, because they can make a big deal out of it.
Sure, especially when the report comes out, it's all like red, and buyers panic, so
you don't want that.
I get that. Okay. So I have a great question. What are the most critical areas of a home that you inspect?
All right, so I always talk about the five most important parts of the house. So it's gonna be the roof,
Okay.
foundation, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. And then if it has a pool, we'll talk about the pool too. But those are the most important parts of the house. Everything else is technically minor.
So Narbe, what advice do you have for first-time buyers during the inspection process?
All right, first-time home buyers, they get very technical on my report. They look at every little item. They have to keep an open mind. Every house has issues. If you don't buy this house, the next house you're in escrow for, I bet you I'll find the same issues. So not to get too technical on like a GFI outlet, look at the big picture. Is the panel upgraded? Not does it need a new outlet?
I like to add, don't bring Uncle Joe, who's not a contractor or licensed inspector, and they scrutinize everything.
No family.
If you're gonna bring family, make sure they know what they're talking about, because we see that all the time.
Oh my God.
Uncle Joe has never changed a light bulb. It's like, hey, your electrical panels are outdated.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bad advice happens a lot during inspections.
So, what are some red flags that might not be obvious for buyers and sellers?
Red flag, like the areas that are not obvious are the areas that they can't visually see. Like if you do a walkthrough on a house before you put an offer in, you don't know how the attic is, you don't know how the foundation is. So those areas, that's where your home inspection it comes into play. That we check those areas and to make sure those areas that are not visual are good also.
Since you brought up visual, we always recommend having a sewer inspection done too, because I know you guys don't handle the sewer inspections. So we have another crew for that. Shout out to David out there.
Yeah.
But we do our sewer inspection, because you as home inspector, visually you see everything from the interior of the house, but underground, we got to check the sewer lines as well.
Exactly.
Tell the viewers why having a sewer inspection is important.
Very, very important inspection, sewer inspection, because a lot of buyers think that I could see everything, and I could see through the walls and everything. But sewer inspection is obviously something you can't see. The sewer line goes underneath the soil and goes all the way to the street. If there's an issue with that line, it gets very expensive very fast. So it's very important to get that checked out. Even though like I could turn on all the water and all the water is flowing properly, doesn't mean there's no break in the line.
Exactly.
So it gets very expensive.
Good point. Easily $15,000-$20,000 like this. Yeah. So Narbe, what kind of maintenance issues could lead to bigger problems down the line if they are not properly maintained?
The biggest problem I usually see are like minor leaks that they go unnoticed or neglected, and that minor leak, because water and drywall, they don't mix real well, so that minor leak turns into a big mold issue. We're also certified mold inspectors, so from personal experience, I've seen minor bathroom sink leaks turn into a whole vanity has to come out. The drywall has to be changed because there's mold contamination.
That's a good point, actually. So let's kind of switch gears. I'm going to ask you a very interesting question. What is the most surprising thing you've ever found during your home inspection?
Well, this one, it's not something that I personally found, but it's that I was going in the crawl space. So I'm all suited up. You've seen me with mask and everything.
Darth Vader.
I'm like this crawl space that doesn't look too good. And so I go underneath and I hear noise. What's going on? I turn around and the buyer is like a 60-year-old little Asian lady, just regular clothes. She's under the house with me.
Behind you?
Crawling.
Oh my God.
I'm like, ma'am, are you sure? It's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm like, there's like Black Widows. And,
she did it. Good for her.
Yeah. That was
all that special.
First it scared me. I thought it was a raccoon behind me, and then it ended up being the buyer.
That's funny. Actually, one of your reports I remember where it was a dead cat.
Oh yeah,
it was a skeleton of the dead cat.
Yeah,
it was a skeleton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like Mike, I found a dead cat. I don't really like it's just a skeleton.
I make a fact to take a picture and make sure I put that on the report for you guys.
Let's jump back into some serious questions. What signs of structural damage do you commonly find during inspections?
So structural damage, usually when people think about that, they think, oh, there's been an earthquake and the house is damaged. But 99% of structural issues are because of water. If you ask any foundation contractor, the first thing they check is gutters, drainage of gutters. So if that is not correct, the slope, the grading is not correct, you get settlement cracks underneath where the house shifts. It goes down a little bit. And then from the inside, you get the cracks on the drywall. So it's very common. It's almost every inspection I call that gutter issues and
you want
grading issues.
Moving away from the house, right?
Yeah,
basically
all the water away from
the house.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, we don't get earthquakes as often, but
you never know. But yeah,
you get more rain.
Yeah, that's for sure. Piggybacking off of that, what about the roof? Like, how do you find out if there's issues with the roof?
Roof is one of the most important parts of the house. Any house, you want your roof to be good because you're gonna go and you're gonna remodel inside and make it all pretty, and then it's gonna leak. So me personally, I don't do drones. I walk on every roof. I don't care if I have to put 3 ladders to get on the roof. So the best way is to walk the roof. You look for damage. You look for signs of ponding, debris that's clogging up valleys that could cause a leak.
Okay.
And then obviously the roof material if it has excess wear. And then again from the attic, we look for staining to see if there's any signs of leaks.
Especially flat roofs, right? Those are always a problem. Flat roofs.
Flat roofs are
Tell the viewers why, because not everyone will might.
So unfortunately, as the new modern construction, everything is flat roof, but flat and water, it doesn't slope properly unless the contractor slope the roof to have the water drain. So when the water sits, it's ponding somewhere. Eventually, that area is going to wear out faster, and then it's going to leak from there. So usually where the gutters are, that's where the water sits the most, and then that's where you get the leak.
So Narbeh, how can buyers distinguish between minor and major issues when they're reading the inspection report? Because experience has shown me when we're looking at reports, sometimes even the most minor thing might alarm a buyer. So how could they properly read the report?
I think the best way is to talk to your inspector. So as inspectors, we have to point out everything on the house. Small, big, doesn't make a difference. So if there's some issue that is, for example, electrical, and it's just an outlet that needs to be changed, and my report is going to show as red, safety hazard, because it's an outlet. Maybe somebody could stick their finger in there. So by just looking at the report, you see red, red, red. But if you talk to your inspector, he'll explain to you that just replace the outlet. It's not rocket science. So I think that helps a lot. Instead of just looking at the report and just looking at colors and
getting alarmed. No, one of the things I appreciate is after our inspections, you take your time, you do a thorough walkthrough with the buyer, you explain them the good, the bad, the ugly of the entire property, and they have a better feeling of what the situation is with the home versus just going home and getting a report. Because I've seen reports. I'm like, damn. I'm like, should my clients buy this property?
It's the same house.
It's the same house. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's important to do a walkthrough as well. So I appreciate it.
And also for buyers, bring your questions. Ask all the questions during the inspection because I could point and answer them. Then over the phone, I'm trying to explain to you, this part of the house. It'll be kind of hard for you.
So you just mentioned that the buyers should ask you questions. What are the top, say, 3, 4 questions that a buyer should ask a home inspector?
So, like I said, at the end of my inspections, I literally put on my hand, I have 5 most important parts of the house, and I cover those. Those are the questions, like if they're skipped, like that's the question the buyer should ask. Like, how is the roof? How is the foundation? Not like, you think the house needs to be painted again or something.
Sure.
It's like
So roof, foundation.
electrical, the plumbing, air conditioning, water heater, something that's like big ticket item, something that's expensive, not something that you just need to remodel the bathroom.
Yeah, you're changing an outlet or
fix
something like that.
something, you know?
I always tell my clients, so don't look at the minor stuff. Look at the most expensive ticket items, like you just said, changing a roof, know, sewer line, plumbing. The key factors.
There are some questions like we can't answer. Like, some buyers, they come like, do you think the roof will leak? I'm like, I don't know. It's not raining right now. But like, I could tell you the condition that I think it's in.
And you usually give a good range to what you
Yeah,
think
I
it's
do my best. Yeah.
it's how many years the roof is, like 10-year roof, 14-year.
Is it new? Is it old?
Oh, yeah.
So, but like, as far as like, you think it's going to rain tomorrow? I don't know. You think it's going to leak? I don't know.
So the report is in. Okay, I get the report. The client gets the report, and at times, like I said earlier, it's a little alarming, right? Because the client doesn't understand, especially a first-time buyer doesn't understand what's a minor ticket item versus an expensive ticket item. What do you recommend they do? What are the processes?
All right, so I know the feeling. The clients at the inspection, they're super excited. They're not even listening to me. They're thinking about where they can put their couch.
Exactly.
So at the end of the inspection, I always tell them, review the report. Sit down, relax, review the report. If you have questions, my number's on it to give me a call. Now, if they ever give me a call, the report always has recommendations. Like if they want to ease their mind about the roof issue that I found, it says, to get a roofing contractor to come and take a look for you. If they want recommendations, I could send them, other different contractors. But that's the easiest way to do it because they might look at it and panic, but it's only a $500 fix.
Yeah, we've done it multiple times throughout the years, is where we tell the client, listen, before you make up your mind, should you cancel or not, let's get a second opinion. Let's bring in a roof specialist, electrician. Let's get an idea what the cost is going to be. Let's go back and renegotiate. Let's see if the seller will fix those items, maybe give you a credit, and then you can fix it on your own. So don't just walk away unless it's something major, like it's a hilltop property and a foundation issue. Then I'll be the first to say, hey, let's cancel this deal. Yeah. But we always try to fix the situation. Like let's get a second opinion, and then if it makes sense, move forward. If not, then we're happy to cancel. Because at the end of the day, you're there to protect the buyer. We're there to protect the buyer during these inspections. So it's a team effort. Here's a good question for you: are there any specific challenges in inspecting older homes versus newer homes?
Yeah. So older homes, like especially like where we grew up in Glendale, there's a lot of old homes, 1920s built. So when you're going to do an inspection for that house, like construction code has changed 100 times since that house was built. So everything you inspect, you have to go into like super detailed. The crawl space, you got to go all the way to the corner to see, galvanized plumbing, cast iron, knob and tube wiring. How's the foundation on this side of the house that nobody's been for 40 years? The roof, asbestos. We're not asbestos inspectors, but we call it out if we see signs of it. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong on an older house. And new construction, you walk in, you already know it's like only going to be copper. It's only going to be Romex wiring. It's the roof's going to be good. It's the house is only 5 years old. So it's much, much easier. Okay. Santa Clarita inspectors, they have it lucky.
I've asked you a lot of questions. I appreciate you being here. What do you think I didn't ask you that you feel like the viewers out there should know? I didn't ask this question.
So
the viewers.
The viewers need to understand what the process is. It's a general visual, non-invasive inspection. So we look at the house. I can't see inside the walls. I can't open things up to look inside. I can't move the seller's furniture to look underneath. So that's the mindset you need to have. Like, that's how I'm inspecting the house. Sometimes I get called out like, oh, you didn't see what was under the couch. I'm like, I can't move the guy's couch. So we do have a whole inspection agreement that we send out. Hopefully they read that and understand.
No one
Yeah,
no one does.
and understand what this process is.
Okay, I appreciate that. If they have questions, they want to reach out to you directly. What's your contact
Of
information?
course, 818-940-5050.
That's an easy number.
Go.
Narbe, appreciate you being here.
Of course.
Hope you guys enjoyed this educational community spotlight video, because doing a home inspection is important. We've mentioned it multiple times in our videos in the past. So get your home inspections done when you're buying a property. Narbe, as always,
Of course,
pleasure,
brother.
my friend.
Thank you.